response video to Zack, who left a few comments on one of my videos. Yeah, I don't do the text thing, Zack, so this is a video response to your text comments, because I'm not going to argue in text. It's really not a fruitful pursuit. I know you have some sort of room on YouTube, but yeah, I just don't do the text thing. So it'd be nice if you did stick cam sometime when I was there. But anyway, yeah, these weren't terrible comments for a change. But some of it was the same old crap. So anyway, he's kind of like, where do I get this stuff from? In terms of degrading or insulting or offending tribal cultures. And I get it from like reading 500 National Geographic magazines. I don't know. I won't say I read every one of them. I probably missed 100. So if there's 600 of them, I read 5, or if there's 500, I read 4. But whatever, I read a lot of them, because we had all the old ones, all the way back to like 1906 or whatever the fuck it was, 13, whatever, 1889, I don't know, whatever the fuck it was, we had them. But anyway, and some of them, you really got to see the solid style change. In the 70s was really the boom of studying tribal cultures. I mean, it's like every month in National Geographic they had some tribe profiled. Some culture anyway. And the thing you learn is that tribes are these indigenous populations are as unique as humans are unique. I mean, each one has its own way of living. And some of them were brutal and ugly and disgusting and harsh. And some of them were rather pleasant and nice, and you could say, And they always took very nice pictures of them too, especially in the 70s when they got the color photographs and all that kind of crap, and there were some nice photos. So it was hardly a magazine trying to rag on the cultures. They really had a great reverence for them. And so it was basically propaganda, but the truth still slipped through. You still got the idea that these people are all insane. Because that's what they lived on. I mean, you say they have a reverence for nature. No, they didn't have a respect for nature. They feared nature. All right, and a lot of them, they do exploit their environment. They actually wipe out populations. We don't know for sure, but I mean, there's speculation that, woolly mammoths, a lot of animals that survived the Ice Age were eradicated by human beings. So, I mean, they didn't understand nature. All they understood was superstitions and fears and bullshit and mumbo jumbo. And obviously, over time, cultures and societies that had superstitions and fears that were conducive to them not overpopulating and not destroying the environment were more likely to survive. They were going to avoid the Holocaust and the plagues and the blights that would wipe out other cultures. I mean, the cultures you see down in South America that just disappeared. Easter Island, for example, they just disappeared. I mean, it could be that they just ate the damn island to pieces and died. Okay, but whatever. There's no point in you saying that tribal culture is some sort of generic thing, that you can say that every one of them contains this element and every one of them is this and every one of them is that. There's no way you can do that. And the point is when they're in a competition that our actual history demonstrates, okay, where do you think we came from? We came from tribal culture. All right, and what happened? The tribes willing to, lop off the heads of the guys next door were the ones that won. That's how the game was played. Violence won, taking won, greed won. All the shitty natural attributes won. So it's just that's we don't have to go anywhere to see the truth. I mean, you can just look at it in the historical record. So I was going to get to that part later, but I mean, again, he goes to this crap, what books have I read and all that crap. I mean, I've read, I don't know the names of the books. I mean, obviously you don't read perpetually throughout your life. I mean, you read a couple, a dozen, a half dozen history of civilization books, and you get enough already. All right, it's not something I want to just wallow in for the rest of my life. So yeah, I haven't read anything recent, and who cares? They haven't discovered anything shocking and amazing, and most of the stuff written about now is just, it's mass media bullshit. It's trying to make mountains out of molehills of information just so they can sell books, so they can market magazines about science or something else. They gotta make it sound sexy and interesting. I mean, 30 years ago, we put a probe, or 25 or whatever it was, on Mars. We tested the damn soil. We did this, we did that. And they talk like we have never even gone there before. because they just want to make it fucking interesting. Oh, there's water on Mars. So I think we all fucking knew that already. You're saying that if the tribes, you're arguing that there's going to be some mechanism that would stop tribes from doing exactly what we did, which is be very hungry for power. They didn't like being controlled by nature. They didn't like being vulnerable to hurricanes and this and that and every other whim of nature. They wanted control of it. They wanted to keep their kids alive. And we would do the same thing. You can't wipe that instinct out of human beings. And so, likewise, if they had technology and they had a war with somebody, they'd use the technology. It's just a fact. And you know, you can't, it's just logic. You don't even need to read a book to figure that out. So anyway, he also said something like, if humanity is the problem, what do we do? And you know, what we do is just admit what we are, and then you create some principles and understanding, a meme that people live by. And so you've made that sort of argument that, well, here you can give me a society, a social organization that is sustainable. And I could say, well, yeah, well, why limit it? Why does that have to be 100 people? Why can't it be 104? If it can be 104, why can't it be 140? If it can be 140, why can't it be 1,040,000,000? There's nothing stopping it from being more. There's nothing stopping it from us having a decent civilization and not a shitty one. I mean, I agree with you. We have a shitty civilization. And again, and then but then you point the finger and you say, okay, well, what's the cause of that? And you won't concede that it's human beings. You won't concede that it's that nature beast. You think nature is some sort of that it wants to create some sort of harmony. And it's never harmony. It's a balance, but it's always an arbitrarily defined balance. We can't, I don't even think we can destroy the nature, you know, the environment bad enough to wipe out life on Earth. I mean, you know, realistically, that's going to take a lot of nuclear bombs. So, I mean, you know, I think it's, your vision could never even take place anyway. Because you're not, unless you wipe out every human being who has any knowledge and wipe out every remnant of our knowledge, they'll rediscover the same truths. They'll chase the same control and power, because it's just the nature of the animal. No one likes being weak and powerless. Nothing does. You know, I mean, it's crazy to think that anything that has power isn't going to use it, and anything that has it doesn't want it. Or, you know, it's control is an important mechanism for an animal that has a welfare to be concerned about, where it matters what happens to it, where it can fear and where it can want and desire. Control becomes important. You can't argue that equation. So I mean, you know, I don't want to argue with you as if we're enemies or something, because we're not. But I mean, you can't. I just don't see anything productive in going any further than let's both acknowledge what exists now sucks. We need something better. But you can't blow this up. You can't take knowledge and make it disappear. It's not going to go away. You can wish it all you want, but it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to kill enough people to make that happen. And then you're just not going to stop this brain that's capable of learning from learning. It did it once before, it'll do it again. You could put us back in the Stone Age and we just do the same thing all over again. There's no way to stay in you know, whatever year it is you want to stay in, BC. It just ain't going to happen. I'd like to get a little bit to Matt. Because again, he just keeps making videos and talking about consciousness as if it's something, you know, this isn't necessary. This 3 pounds of goo inside your cranium isn't really what consciousness is. That doesn't make consciousness. The phenomenon doesn't, you know, it isn't created by that goop. And it's just crazy silly. I mean, that's what all those neurons are involved in creating, is consciousness. And it's a completely, there's no reason, there's no logical way to even speculate about how any other mechanism, even if it's complex, could be conscious. And that's what he's saying, though, is that all this other shit is conscious, that just being a container of some kind makes it conscious. And it doesn't work that way. It has to have sense organs properly wired into a mechanism that means something. I mean, I can plug an electric cord into the wall, but the electric cord isn't thinking because electricity is passing through it. It isn't having an experience. There wouldn't be any experience to be had. And like I said, we can cut our friggin' arms off, and the fingers will still move. I should put them in front of the camera. And it'll twitch and do all kinds of shit, but it's not conscious. It's not having a conscious experience because it doesn't have a central nervous system. So, you know, this is, I don't even know how to argue with you anymore. You've gone so crazy. I don't want to argue with you either, but I mean, what's the point of this shit? I mean, it's not, I can't, what's this, what are you going to say? You're crazy. You're just out of your fucking mind. This goes nowhere. You know, we are a biological machine. You want to keep thinking biology is something else than physics, chemistry, mechanics, go ahead, but it's not. You know, it's not mystery. It's not made out of gingerbread, damn it.